going on, guys? In today's video, we're talking about the Sony FX3. Now, I've had this camera for several months now, and without a doubt, it's an absolute beast at video. I'm sure you guys have heard about that by now, but something you haven't heard many people talk about, I'm sure, is that it's actually surprisingly pretty good at photography as well, and that's what I want to talk about in today's video. Now, I wanted to start this video right off the rip with some actual photos that I took with this camera, and that's what those sneaker photos were at the beginning of this video. And damn, I just picked up those shoes last week and they are sick. Now, those photos, along with pretty much everything that I've been taking over the last few months when it comes to photography, has been with the Sony FX3. Now, I'm well aware that this isn't a photo first camera. To give you a little background in case this is your guys' first time coming to this channel, which if it is, be sure to drop this video a thumbs up and also subscribe. It really helps me out. But I'm actually coming from the Canon R5. So I had the R5, and although it definitely has some drawbacks, the really good thing about it is that it's amazing at photography and it's pretty good at video as well, just in smaller amounts, but that's something for a whole different video. So I kind of had a hybrid camera that I could do photo and video with before. So when I switched over to the Sony system, I kind of had my mind made up that I was going to have two cameras. I was going to have one camera that was dedicated to taking videos, which was going to be this one right here, the Sony FX3. And then I was going to pick up a second camera body, which is probably going to be the Sony a7 IV whenever that gets released, or maybe one of the cameras in the a7R line, which is the higher megapixel line for Sony. So I picked up the FX3 and started shooting video right away, and I've been really happy with it, but I still needed to shoot some photography as well until I could pick up a second camera body. Now, last year, the Sony a7S III came out, and it kind of just changed the game for a lot of creators out there. And then Sony decided to come out with the FX3, which the way I describe it is it's basically an a7S III just on steroids. It has a couple more features that are centric around just kind of the video realm. And something that you probably heard a lot about that camera, and it's also the same in the FX3, is that it's a 12 megapixel sensor. Now, Chris Howe actually dropped an amazing video talking about the 12 megapixels and comparing it to a 100 megapixel camera when it comes to digital photos, and then also actual prints where they were blown up and zoomed in and all sorts of stuff. So I will leave that down in the description below. But basically, once I watched that video, my mind was kind of blown about the whole, you need a crazy high megapixel camera when it comes to photography. So definitely go check that out. But between watching that video and then also me just taking some photos on the FX3 myself and editing them and checking them out and even posting them, I was kind of just blown away by it, and it kind of changed my whole concept about how you need a high megapixel camera to shoot photography. All right, so I'm actually gonna pull up some photos here that I just took the other day using the Sony FX3, and you guys will see that these turned out really good. So they look awesome, they look sharp, the colors look great, and you would have never known that these were shot on a cinema camera like the FX3, or with a camera with only 12 megapixels. Even this detail shot with the X, if you zoom in, you see every single thread of the clothing, and honestly, I had to Photoshop out some dog hair as well, so you definitely get in there and get a lot of detail with this camera. And I'll just kind of swipe through here a little bit more, but as you guys can see, I think these turned out really good, and I'm happy with them. And funny enough, actually my girlfriend snapped these photos for me, and I think she did a killer job between having the face detection on the FX3 and also using a wide angle lens like this 16 to 35 G Master, the 2.8, and it just made sure that I stayed in focus and I could work on some different compositions or different crops in post if I needed to. But yeah, I think these photos turned out great, and like I said, I don't think you would ever know that they were shot on the FX3 or with a camera with 12 megapixels. Now, as much as I'm hyping up these photos because I'm the subject in them, I do think they turned out really good, and I think the FX3 did a killer job. But one little nice bonus why these turned out so good is because of the t-shirts that I'm wearing in them. Now, that t-shirt is made by a really cool company called LUTS. They make the best t-shirt that I have ever worn. I'm actually wearing one in today's video as well. And I'm not sure if you actually know this or not, but I'm actually a pretty big dude. I'm around 6'5", 235 pounds. So finding clothes that fit me and fit me well and I feel confident in is not always the easiest task for me. So ever since I got my hands on some some of their products. I've been rocking them pretty much every single day. They're perfect for whether I'm on a shoot or maybe I'm going out with friends. Pretty much whatever I'm doing, this has been my go-to t-shirts. They're super stretchy, they're breathable, they're kind of elongated so they fit me and my frame well. And if you guys want to check out any of their products for yourself, you can go through that link down in my description below. It'll save you 15% off your order. Now, one little thing I want to add in here, which is actually the reason why I decided to make this video, is I use the FX3 a lot for photography for my social media, like things like Instagram. The nice thing is, because this camera is only 12 megapixels, the file sizes aren't huge. So what I use a lot of times for just my workflow is I snap the photos on the FX3 and then I just put the SD card in this little lightning adapter straight into my iPhone, right into Lightroom Mobile, and I can have a bunch of photos on my phone and in Lightroom, and the file sizes aren't gigantic like when you're working with a really high megapixel camera. So the Sony FX3 and photography. At the end of the day, if you are a professional photographer, the FX3 is not the camera for you. What I'm really trying to get at is if you do a lot of video work and you only have one camera body, and sometimes you need to get some photo stuff done, honestly, the FX3 is a really good option. So definitely I encourage you to do your research and make sure you know what you need out of your camera. But if you are mostly a video person or you're in a pinch, the FX3 or the Sony a7S III with this sensor could definitely get the job done. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of today's video. Were you surprised by some of these photos? Do you think you could tell that they were only 12 megapixels? Let me know in the comments below. But guys, that's gonna be it for me in today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did enjoy it, will you please drop it a thumbs up? If you're new around here, consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. And I will catch you guys in the next video very, very soon. Peace, guys.